down here at the courthouse. Of course, I'm an hour early. I caught a bus down here. I'm not going to try to deal with downtown parking. I give VIA crap all the time. I still continue to use VIA. I'm a frugal person. $3 for a daily bus pass is not bad. It's like $38 for a monthly pass, and apparently yesterday my monthly pass had expired. So that caught me off guard. I went somewhere, and then the bus driver, his swiper wasn't working, so I wasn't aware that the bus pass was expired then. Went to get on the next bus, and the guy's like, "Oh, this expired yesterday." I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch." And I didn't have small change. I wasn't going to put a 20 in a VIA bus receptacle. So I said, no big deal. I'll just walk. Anyway, so again, I'm out by the courthouse. This is eventually going to get dismissed. At least that's my prediction. The DA is going to continue to put pressure on me to take a plea deal. As I told them before, that's absolutely not happening. They already said, "Oh, we'll just give you, time served for 14 hours. We locked you up if you plead guilty." I'm like, I'm not pleading guilty. I wasn't guilty. There's a lot of other issues about this case that a jury needs to hear. I want this to actually go to court. A jury needs to hear that, one, the police department put me in an unair-conditioned car. That, two, the officer deleted my recording device that clearly showed I was told to wait where I was waiting for a supervisor to report previous unlawful activity by the VIA guards that had occurred over the weekend. Now, I'd made an attempt to do that earlier in the day, and their supervisors were not available. So I said, okay, I'll wait till the end of that shift, and I'll go and speak to the next supervisor. I show up, and the way they decide to handle it is, wait out there. I waited. Within 2 minutes, they show up, cuff me, say, okay, we're arresting you for criminal trespass for being outside of the police station at 230 North Medina, the Joint Law Enforcement Center. Either way, what a jury needs to see is their officer, their supervisor who showed up, who already knew, another supervisor had already guaranteed me that they were not going to be doing this game, that they've lost their other cases in court, that I could be where I was, and he said, well, you'll deal with that in court. And so I'm like, yeah, we do need to deal with this in court. And the judge needs to be telling VIA, hey, stop doing this. You know you're not supposed to. Keep having to dismiss these charges. You're wasting the taxpayers' time and the jury's time. But again, that's why I'm like, I don't care. Worst case scenario for me is for some crazy reason a jury says, oh, well, we're going to find this guy guilty because we don't like people who film the police. Legally, they can't find me guilty. The prosecutor should know that. He should have already dismissed this, but he won't, because what they want to do is build a case to keep me from filming in public. Just recently, I had the original cause for the criminal trespass warning dismissed. And again, that was back in April when a man assaulted me with a 2.5 pound to 3 pound rock and went to pick up another one, and I pulled him away from the rock pile. And they said, oh, you're fighting in public. I'm like, absolutely not. That's self-defense. That's obviously going to get proven in court. Prosecutor didn't even want to hear that. He's like, hey, it's dismissed. You're done. I'm like, okay, great. What about this criminal trespass warning? Well, that's a different matter. That's a civil matter. I'm like, no, it's a legal matter. It is a legal matter because the whole reason for them giving me a criminal trespass warning was that I was supposedly being disorderly and fighting in public, and that did not happen. They knew it didn't happen, and they don't care about it. So, 10 o'clock today, I already know what's going to happen. This is scheduled as a Zoom hearing, but I don't do Zoom. I show up in person. I'll go in there. They'll set the trial for another date again. My lawyer will tell them, just drop this now. Hopefully the prosecutor will look at discovery and go, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Even the police report says that this guy's innocent, yet they're going to keep pushing this and saying, oh, we can do that. So again, I don't know what the prosecution is thinking other than they have political pressure. They did the same thing before until I forced my lawyer to explain to them, when we get this in front of a jury and they see that these 8 officers lied, I'm going to expect you to prosecute them for perjuring themselves. My lawyer's like, I can't make them do that. I'm like, no, but as soon as he realizes that once they do that, it's not going to look good to the public. And again, what's sad is the only time that in the interest of justice for them is when you can prove they're doing shady stuff and they don't want the public to know about it. In the interest of public justice, they would have dismissed this already. They would have written up that officer for arresting me on a public sidewalk. They would have explained to the officer and reprimanded him because he already knew that was a public sidewalk, that he cannot do that. He needs to stop doing it. The supervisor that I recorded telling me that he would tell his subordinates that apparently didn't get it out to that officer, or another officer or supervisor just told him, well, we can arrest him again. We've gotten away with this so many times. Yeah, that nobody sued us for it, so we'll just keep doing it. So that may be what has to happen here, is VIA needs to get sued for continuing to do something that keeps getting dismissed. I'll talk to some of the other people who are arrested for this and see if they want to do a class action lawsuit against VIA. Because again, until they face some repercussions for doing what they continue to do, and that's making arrests they know will not hold up in court, that get dismissed, they're going to continue doing it. So I'm down here, San Fernando Cathedral, I believe is the name of it. I'm going to go get some tacos like I normally do before court, and I'll be back on live later after court. Again, what I expect in this today is that they're going to go, we're going to reset this. It's a typical thing. The last time I had to deal with the Bexar County court system for something similar, they kept doing this. It took 10 months. And you show up, they set a jury trial, then they reschedule, and then they finally go, oh, you know what? We're not going to put this in front of the jury. But what they do, they intimidate citizens, and then they force you to keep coming down to these courts. And they hope that you miss one. And then they can say, oh, you're guilty because you didn't show up to court. And this is, again, why a lot of people do plead out on things like this. It's crazy. But if you don't stand up to the court system as well as the dirty officers, if you just take these pleas, then you're rewarding the bad behavior that they're doing. Okay, this is Blue Lives Matter out. I'm going to go ahead and take off. Appreciate you for stopping in. And again, I have court today for the criminal trespass arrest on the 6th of June. Typical thing down here. So thanks for showing up, guys. I'm signing off, going to get some breakfast, and then I got court at 10. It's probably about 9:15 now.